This video is about our trip to Great Britain, to accompany our daughter, Sabrina, to her new university, to help her settle in, and to travel around Britain and get reacquainted with the island and its culture. This video is going to be in English, Spanish, and in Spanglish, what we are.
Sudáfrica y México. Y ya sabemos de antemano quién va a ganar. ¡México!
We hope you will enjoy it as much as we did in making it. It is for you, for our children, and for us.
¡México!
Sudáfrica.
Marylou and I left on the night of September 12th. Sabrina had to leave early that morning because we didn't have our US visas, so we had to fly through Spain. I took Sabrina to the airport to start a new chapter in her life, a 3-year study adventure in Oxford, England, which meant a flower less in the Gutierrez garden. Marylou and I left at 8:30 p.m. on Iberia. We arrived in Madrid at noon on September 13th. We had to wait 6 hours at the airport before boarding our flight to London, where we arrived around 10 p.m. Being adventurous, we took the subway to Holborn Station, and then we walked to the Quarter Inn, arriving there around 12 p.m., where Sabrina was already waiting for us. The game is afoot. We woke up early on September 14th. We had continental breakfast. We packed our suitcases and we put them in storage in the hotel. We then went to visit Sabrina's friends' parents, Adriana and Stephen Smith. On our first attempt, we got lost. Sabrina was taking us in the opposite direction. Finally, we turned around and I visited London School of Economics, where I have not been for at least 10 years. After the visit, we had lunch in a traditional pub. We then went to the train station to pick up the rental car. We rented an Audi A3 white diesel, a very nice car, and we left for Oxford at about 5 p.m. It is amazing. I didn't have any trouble driving on the left side of the road, probably because for 5 years I lived in England when I was in my 20s, so it all came back to me. I was like a fish back in water. Of course, I got lost. In fact, we got so lost that I went into the congestion zone and I was fined £96 in penalty charges. Oxford is about 60 miles away from London, and we took the M40, and it took us around an hour and 40 minutes to get there, but of course, it took us another hour to find the hotel, the Holiday Inn Express. Well, here we are in Oxford, a beautiful town, and here is Marylou, Mama Gallina, and here's Sabrina, very happy. We just bought her towels, bedsheets, and duvet, and our GPS so we can find our way around and not get lost as we got lost leaving London and arriving to Oxford. We're going for lunch right now.
Eat.
Yeah.
I need a beer.
So we went for lunch, and after a good meal, we walked to Sabrina's dorm. Another day, more shopping, another lunch, this time with jazz. On our last day, we took a walking tour of Oxford with a professor.
Professors here are not just any form of university teaching, like from assistant acting part-time professor to the top man. professors here are always 2, possibly 3 levels below God.
This is Hell's Passage, later sanitized to be called St. Helen's Passage, and the bridge is called the Bridge of Sights.
Oh.
He did not discover comet. It was discovered in 240 BC apparently, but he was the one who wrote it down and calculated its
This is so quaint and charming.
Anyway, there's Jack, and the Harry Potter fan of mine.
The name Oxford comes from the old term Oxamforda, which actually means a ford, shallow crossing, in the river where the cattle, oxen, could cross safely. In other words, for us Spanish speakers, es el cruce de los bueyes. Seguramente esto le va a gustar mucho a mi amiga Ana, de que Oxford está lleno de bueyes.
Remember it. But what happened was the engineering students lifted a working model of an Austin 7 car onto the top of the Senate House overnight in perfect condition, and the university engineering authorities spent weeks trying to work out how to get it down.
Just outside the Museum of History of Science, there are a series of Roman faces, which I believe were Roman emperors. Very impressive. As you walk around the colleges, you are being watched. All over Oxford buildings are gargoyles. Actually, they are grotesque since they don't spout water. Some in the shape of faces, some of animals, some of entire people. There are some that are very funny and some that are very ugly. Most of them, they just look English. Many of you will recognize several of these buildings as the locations for the movies of Harry Potter. After our walking tour of Oxford, we walked back to the car and fetched Sabrina to have our last lunch before departing on our tour of England and Scotland. We had a wonderful lunch full of laughs and surprises.
Oh my God, what is that?
We left Oxford around 10 o'clock. It took us about 1 hour and a half to arrive to Leicester. Acabamos de dejar a nuestra preciosa hija Sabrina, la cual está feliz y nosotros estamos medio tristes. Y estamos yendo en dirección a Leicester, donde nació mi hijo hace 38 años, el 18 de septiembre de 1974. As soon as we arrived, I got lost. I think I circled this roundabout about 4 or 5 times after finally understanding what the GPS was telling us.
Turn right. After 300 yards, enter the roundabout, then take the third exit. Then keep left.
We're finally in Leicester. This is Narborough Road, which in 75 was basically Indian and Pax restaurants. Now you have just about everything, including Safeway and
Subway.
Papa Joe's. And right now we're going to the university.
A Polish grocery.
That's the building where I studied, University of Leicester. Can you see it?
After 500 yards, turn left.
Our first stop was the University of Leicester.
Well, here I am with an old friend of mine from the 1970s, Martin Hoskins, who has stayed here.
At the University of Leicester.
Have him.
Hello. It was remarkable that I could remember you, Louise.
Yeah.
Amazing, yeah. Walked in the door and you recognized
Yes,
him, yeah?
indeed.
Amazing.
The voice was very recognizable.
Martin Hoskins, who also liked to play the guitar and still does. Once we finished, we went to 56 Falmouth Road, where Bethany and I lived from 1972 to 1974, and where Leicester was born. As you can see in this photograph, we were the first ones to move into this flat.
So here we are, 56 Falmouth Road. Our first place that we lived here when we came to the University of Leicester. Still quite nice. We have kept it in very good shape. Over there, that end, it was Roger, married to a Spanish friend of ours. And right here, we used to have our parties. And here, in New Year's, we had a piñata. Going right there. And this is where Roger got so excited that he broke the lights of his own car, you know, because with his stick. So here we are. That was our guest bedroom over there. And furthermore, that was our main bedroom, my studio, and underneath we have the living room. You can see it from the other side as well. 56 Falmouth Road. Small world indeed.
Our third stop was lunch at a very nice pub in Oxford Road. We left Leicester right after lunch. Of course, it was a late lunch, so we started our way to Manchester at about 6 p.m. It took us about 2 hours to get there and about 20 minutes to find the hotel.